Well, we finally got some news about the Boston Red Sox, the punishment that Major League Baseball is going to be handing out to them for the sign stealing scandal that happened in the 2018 season. Of course, the year when they won the World Series, following up the 2017 season where the Astros won the World Series, and they also had a sign stealing scandal. Now, I will say this right off the bat. The Red Sox scandal is not nearly the same, not nearly on the same scale, not nearly as bad as the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros got off easy. The Red Sox, in theory, got off easy. They could have been punished more, but when you actually go into the details of what was happening and what they actually did, this punishment, I don't want to say is fair, because they still cheated and it definitely helped them win some games, but they also shouldn't have been as punished as hard as maybe the Astros should have been. They're completely two different scales. I'll go over everything that went down in this report, in the document, all the findings. I, of course, am going to link the article to The Athletic in the description down below if you guys are subscribed to it there. I highly suggest you do. It's a great website. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you are new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. As much as I'm giving my input and opinion, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think they got off easy or too harsh? And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Links in the description. Go check me out there, always talking baseball. So I'm going to get started off by telling you exactly what the Red Sox punishment is, because it's very straightforward. It's very simple. We're not seeing any big fines. We're not seeing any crazy firings or everybody being thrown under the bus. It's simple. The big guy behind this was not Alex Cora, was not the front office. It was a guy by the name of JT Watkins, who was their replay room coordinator. He was essentially the guy who was sitting in the replay room doing this entire thing. JT Watkins has been suspended for the 2020 season without pay and suspended for the 2021 season and postseason. The Red Sox also lose their second round pick in the upcoming draft in 2020, which who knows what that's really going to even be like. And Alex Cora, who of course lost his job after all this stuff came out with the Red Sox and the Astros, he's going to be suspended for the 2020 season, but it has nothing to do with what happened with the Red Sox. Pretty much been proved that he had no real knowledge of anything going on or any wrongdoing. It wasn't his plan here. He's being suspended instead for what he did with the Astros, which feels a little bit weird, but that just makes me feel like, yeah, he was a huge part of it in Houston. Those are the punishments. Fairly simple. It's a little bit of a slap on the wrist here. I don't think the Red Sox could have been punished too much more, but I also don't think they were punished enough. I don't know. It's weird. All the stuff that they found in the investigation and the findings, it makes it seem like this was really just one employee who was going like kind of rogue, but also at the same time, it's funny to me how players who cheat using steroids, etc., they get much more of a harsh penalty than a team and an organization who ends up being cheating and helping them win games. I don't know. It's just like such a weird scenario to be in, because like, yeah, they cheated, but they didn't cheat that much. It's tough. So let me go explain to you why I think they didn't necessarily cheat that much, but they still are cheaters. So this guy, JT Watkins, like I said, he's the replay room coordinator official. I don't know what the exact term is, but he's the guy in the replay room. Every team's got a guy in the replay room for their games. According to the investigation, multiple times during the 2018 season, Watkins was using the replay room to illegally give signs to players during the games, which is not allowed. What you're technically allowed to do is the players can go back and forth, they can look at stuff to help with matchups, etc., but they can't be using live in-game footage to help out for the game that's currently happening. What was going on is that JT Watkins and some of the players, JT Watkins was using live in-game footage, he was decoding signs, he was giving it back to the players live in real time. You can't do that. Before, after the game, good. During the game, no. That's the big problem there. You can't be doing it during the game. This is definitely less serious than what the Astros did, and you might be wondering, how is that so? It sounds like it's very similar. Well, with the Astros, they had the guy right by the dugout, get the sign, and it would be relayed to the batter pretty much in real time, immediately. Oh, that's a curveball, bang, 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 curveball's coming. The batter hears the bangs, he knows a curveball's coming. What would be happening, of course, during the game is that he'd be able to decode the signs from prior knowledge as well as what he's seeing going on during the game, who would then relay that info to a runner in scoring position, typically second base. If the stuff matched up with what the runner was seeing on second base, he would then relay that sign to the hitter. So it was a little bit more, I don't want to say complex, but there was a lot more hoops to go through than what the Astros are doing. Like, hey, curveball, bang, 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 curveball's coming. The Red Sox were like, okay, this probably is a curveball. There's a guy on second base. I'm gonna go tell this guy to go tell the base runner on second, hey, curveball. And then the runner on second base was like, hey, curveball. So it was a little bit more intricate, a little bit more delayed. There was a lot more steps to it than just the Astros. Still cheating, still not good, but definitely not as bad. One thing that the league found for sure is that the Red Sox did not do it in the 2018 postseason, which we know with the Astros that also wasn't the case, but then it was found to be the other way. It's a little different. And then that they also weren't doing it in 2019. So it pretty much looks like it's only isolated to the 2018 regular season. They went super in depth in this investigation. 65 witnesses, 34 of those were former or current players, tens of thousands of emails, text messages, phone calls. They had a lot of evidence to help their findings, and it seems like they've pretty much figured out what it was. They even interviewed witnesses multiple times to make sure that the stories were on the same page. If they did have more information, they wanted to try to get as much out of these guys as possible. And even the commissioner, Rob Manfred, met with some of these witnesses himself on multiple occasions to make sure that he was getting the story straight as well. Because of course, as we know with the Astros, sometimes the story wasn't set straight. Some people were getting different information here, and not all the information was really put on the table. Manfred, it seemed like with the Red Sox, he wasn't taking any chances with this one. He wanted to be very, very thorough, which that's that's what it should have been the entire time. It should always be thorough. Now, of course, JT Watkins, the guy that's been mentioned a lot this video, he denies that he did anything wrong. He's not admitted to anything that he's actually done. He's saying that he did nothing wrong. He's innocent. You're misunderstanding things. Clearly not the case through their findings. Because of that, the punishment goes out to him. Suspended without pay in 2020, like I said, and he can't serve as the replay room official or coordinator for the 2021 regular season or postseason. Honestly, I don't know if this guy gets a job again. Seems like you would just not want to be associated with him anymore. Just kind of, push him to the side. Say, this isn't yours anymore. The Red Sox must forfeit their second round pick, which Rob Manfred had a quote to say about that. The club must be held accountable, particularly since the club may have benefited from Watkins' conduct. And he felt that because there was the Apple Watch incident, and even though this wasn't the same thing, you can't just let the team kind of slide again. You got to punish them for something. So he took away their second round pick, which I guess you could have done the first round. But again, it's so tough to understand because this stuff just really hasn't happened before this year. So there's no precedent really set. You're kind of setting it right now. I don't know where I stand. I felt like it was too soft. Then after really reading and going into what happened, maybe it's the right. It's so tough. I don't know. This is one of the few times I'm on the fence for everything. But overall, he didn't feel like player discipline was necessary. He didn't feel like the players went out of their way to do anything really wrong. If you're not going to punish the Astros for what they did, they knew what they were doing was wrong. You're not going to punish the Red Sox for a much more laxed version of cheating, if that's the right way to use it. Now, Rob Manfred in 2017, when the Apple Watch stuff did come out, said that he was going to always hold the GM and the manager accountable for any sign stealing scandals that were going on in Major League Baseball. The front office really had nothing to do with it. Alex Cora really had nothing to do with it. He wasn't going to send out any suspensions or fines or punishments to the front office or manager, general manager, whatever it be, like he did with the Astros, because it doesn't seem like they had really any involvement with it in the Red Sox. It's not the same scenario as the Astros. This isn't an organizational thing. This seemed like it was really a one guy issue. That guy was JT Watkins, who they're calling a rogue employee, that basically no one asked him to do this. He did it on his own. Manfred said Cora, his coaches, all the front office stuff, they're pretty much innocent. They didn't do anything really wrong. He even said that the front office effectively put out the rules yeah, we can't be doing this stuff. Especially after the Apple Watch incident, they made it very clear no, this stuff has to stop. And that this JT Watkins guy was just nah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't really care. It is interesting to me that players from the Red Sox said that they didn't know they were doing anything wrong. Players said that they didn't know they couldn't use the replay station in-game to decode signs during the 2018 and 2019 season, which that feels like there's an issue there on its own. How did the players not know this? That feels like it should be very, very well known. Hey, you can't be stealing signs during games using the replay station. I talked about Alex Cora, how he was suspended, but it has nothing to do with what he did with the Red Sox. It has to do with the Astros. Manfred had this to say about it. I do not find that then manager Alex Cora and the Red Sox coaching staff, the Red Sox front office, or most of the players on the 2018 Red Sox knew or should have known that Watkins was utilizing in-game video to update the information that he learned from pre-game analysis. Communication of these violations was episodic and isolated to Watkins and a limited number of Red Sox players only. So that's basically what he had to say, again, kind of summarizing everything I just said about the front office, players, coaches. Basically, Red Sox didn't do it nearly as bad as the Astros. That's why their punishment is so much more laxed. Now, out of the 34 players that they interviewed, 30 of the players said that they had no knowledge that this stuff was going on even at all. There were 6 witnesses that said that they saw Watkins writing out signs during games, doing decoding live during the game, and 11 of them said that Watkins indicated to them that he stole these signs from in-game stuff, that it wasn't just before or after the game. This wasn't off prior knowledge. This was going on live. He was doing it, which that's a big no-no. You can't be doing it live in the game. That's the big thing here is you can do it before the game, you can do it after the game, but during the game, you cannot be using the live feed, live data, live video to be decoding signs. That's a problem. That's where it crosses the line. If you figured out their signs from weeks past and they continue to use it, that's different. But during the game, if you're using what's going on right now, that's where you're cheating. It's no longer just part of the game. That is straight up stealing signs. There was even an MLB employee sometimes in the video replay room for the Red Sox, and Watkins apparently created this whole system and gestures and codes to describe what was going on and to give the signs out because he didn't want to get caught. That came from 4 different witnesses. Obviously, he knew he was doing something wrong if he had to come up with this whole elaborate sign system so that the MLB official who was there to watch over them didn't get suspicious. Also, to that MLB employee that was there to watch over them, how did you not notice this? How did you not see there was something going wrong? What took so long? Now, it is worth noting that most of the sign decoding, 90% of it comes from before or after games, not during the game, but it was suspected that about 10% of all the stuff that was going on happened during the game, that it was obviously updated based on real-time stuff. He had prior knowledge, but he kept updating it and fine-tweaking it based on what he was seeing during the game, watching live feed, which you can't be doing again. That's the problem, JT. Can't be using the live game. It was also known that you would go to JT Watkins if you saw a sign or if you were picking up on things so that he could use it for prior knowledge later on, and that's kind of I guess, a gray area. You could tell the guy he can use that information, maybe look at it afterwards, but during the game, again, can't be looking at live footage. That's the problem. You can't be verifying things. You can't be using the video to your advantage live. So overall, JT Watkins, he's the fall guy right now. Is it the truth? Is it the facts? That's what I'm being told, so that's what I'm believing. I have no reason to believe that JT Watkins wasn't a rogue employee, that this wasn't this big elaborate plan by the Red Sox. The investigation, the facts that we know right now is telling us that it's one employee and one employee only. I believe that. Because that is the case, and because that's the facts we we know, I think that this punishment is fair. It is a bit of a slap on the wrist. Maybe it could have come down a little bit harder just to really set a hard precedent like, hey, you can't cheat at all, because really at the end of the day, the Red Sox did benefit from this, but also it wasn't as big as the Astros. It wasn't nearly as complex. It wasn't nearly as egregious. I don't think it's the same. I'd love to know what you guys think about the Red Sox punishment, the cheating scandal, down in the comment section below. Let me hear your opinions. Do you agree it was right, or maybe they were too harsh or too lenient? Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. That's a great way to support the channel, as well as subscribe if you are new and you enjoy the content. Remember, you can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. I'm streaming every day on Twitch, so if you're not following me there, links in the description. I think that's all we have to talk about cheating for the rest of the 2020 year. I don't want to hear any more about it. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video, as well as this is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel. I'll catch you all tomorrow for another banger. The jersey video, it's coming, I swear. Bye.